So to cover the last thing that we didn't cover, I will now show you how to very quickly make the configuration addition, the kernel configuration addition that we had persistent and add them in recipe 2 earlier. So the idea is that we'll start by modifying like the kernel directory just to show you a little bit how things look like. This is like the temp, the log directory. We're now under the kernel specific, the architecture and distro specific there, so like it's where the build is. We have all kind of directories. One of them would be the standard build, and there is where the sources are. So there are some sources under shared, and there would be, for example, under, you can just go to source, but they'll be under like work shared, and then you'll have like the kernel source here, which is what we actually take from, these are like the different branches and so on, but this is actually like what we clone essentially, okay? So that's like the first unpacking that we have. It's taken from Linux Yocto here. And there is the build folder itself. Now, if we, because before I did like a make menuconfig, I actually add some changes that caught for that particular build and all the build until I clean the build or clean the state. But this time I want to make the changes persist. So I'm going to clean the state here. Yes. Why clean state and not just clean? So that if there is any build, then it will know that we need to do like all of like the steps here. So it cleans the S state cache there, the S state there with the aspect of Qualcomm. So I'm just so tired. And if we look now at the output directory, we're not supposed to see anything. Okay, so I'll go like back here, and there should be only like a temp, like the logs for the S-state cache cleaner. So if we go here, temp, and there it is. Okay, we have like you can forget about the task order; it's insignificant. But we have like these two links, the log, and tell, hey, this is like what it deleted. It deleted S-state cache. I was lazy here. I mean, just put everything like under the build. I didn't change much for our discussion because I want to do things fast. But you can see like the marking here, okay? Like the different elements that will be populated, and there are the steps themselves that are being done. Which, if you don't know Yocto, what I show now is actually a good introduction on how to see what is being run, especially if you get stuck. But if you get stuck, you'll probably call someone like me because debugging build failures in Yocto can be very hard. So it's empty, there's nothing here. That's not so nice. Let's see what's happening with the source. So if we go to the kernel source, then also pretty much nothing here. So if we want to do like any kernel task, we'll need to unpack everything again. Okay, that's good, that's nice. But what do we want to like to override? So here's the thing. This is from the Yocto project, this is the Pocky, and we have under meta Yocto BSP, we have recipes kernel. So I'm already here, okay? And there we have Linux, and we have like the Linux Yocto 6.12, or it doesn't matter like the version, BB append, okay? Why do we have like a BB append? Because there is like a there's like a base class for like the Linux kernel, okay? And they append to it. So if I'm not going to cover it, I just want to show you how to very quickly add my own stuff. But if we check this particular one, then it says these are like the machines that this kernel recipe would work with. These are like the different like overrides, okay? So if it's like generic ARM64, and this is it has nothing to do like with Qualcomm, okay? And it has to do with the branches that they want to take. And if the machine is bigger bond, then there's something specific. If it's generic x86, it's this one. And then, like always, we have like the possibility for patches and so on and so forth. Now the machine is a well-known override. I spoke about override in one of the other files. But if we want to add a path, even if its name is files, which is automatically searched in a BB file, if we want to add them in a BB append, we must use file extra paths prepend. We can also append, but find it first, and then it's like the most specific. So we're going to do something very similar here, okay? And look what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is actually take the config in something that's called the configuration fragment. It just has my additions, and this fragment will automatically go into our code. So the fragment looks like this. This is everything that I put here, okay? I put like the same structure here and there. And let's look at this fragment. So I called it ikconfig and fdev because that's what I added. And there you have it. Instead of like 1,000 lines of configurations, you have only what you need, and it's going to be added like with merge config eventually. So how do I get it in? Very simple. src URI, but I do need the file extra path. So let's look at a very simple recipe. It would be one line if I didn't have to add the file extra path prepend. That's what it is. That's it. I search for it, I put it, and that's it. So I cleaned the recipe. Now let's go ahead and instead of doing the clean state, I'll just build the image. I can build everything, but obviously this is the only thing that I cleaned. And that's this Bluetooth bag that I have. I really need to take care of it. My keyboard has like a... So we'll build now a core image Weston. So now, I will not wait through the entire build. I can tell you that it will work because it will work. I just did something that is like very solid, and I moved like a menuconfig to something else. So look what's going on. There is like the do unpack. So we are going to have kernel sources sooner or later. Okay. So we have this, and there is like the kernel checkout. So it will look for like the right branch, and on the here we have like under the work shared like the source code itself. But now we'll have like the more specific stuff, okay? So we can see here that we have the Linux Qualcomm build. It's not populated yet. Okay, but now it will be because we have like the kernel config me. Okay, so before it didn't have like anything, look what it has. It points like to the kernel source that we have under work shared and so on. So we can look at it. And these are the source files. And when we start building, which it builds now, like the decompile, in our path we will have like more things, okay? Like fine. So it's already compiling some stuff, okay? And we can go ahead and do like PSAX, and we can see all this nice, very obvious kernel compilation stuff. So this will take a couple of minutes for sure, and I don't see any reason to wait for it. So by the time this is done, we'll have our image, and this will have like the exact same kernel that I had before, because I added these configuration files with a menuconfig step, but they cannot persist unless I put them in recipe. So this is exactly what I'm doing here. I added them, and just for fun, let's add this and config fragment for like a config. Let's do proc here because it's true, and fdev. So I'm going to do that, and that's it. So I will let it build, and I will finish the recording, and with this we wrapped up our layer, and maybe I'll do more talks, but this was the only thing that was missing in order to be billion% sound and accurate. So thanks for watching.